Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sandeep Kumar, and I'll be taking the lectures of Indian history right from 1498 to 1947. And with this YouTube video, we have started a new playlist in our YouTube channel. It is named as India's Struggle for Independence. And in this playlist, we'll be discussing about India's history right from 1498, when the first Europeans entered our country, till 1947, when we finally got our independence. So being the first video of this playlist, in this video we'll be discussing about advent of Europeans in India. The content of this video is the discussion of the arrival of Europeans in India. The first Europeans that entered in our country were Portuguese, followed by Dutch, Britishers, Danish, and French being the last. So, discussing about the first Europeans that entered our country, those were Portuguese, and discussing about the history of Portuguese, the European Age of Discovery was started with the Portuguese navigators when Prince Henry the Navigator started a maritime school in Portugal. The resulting of this technical and scientific discovery led Portugal to develop the most advanced ships, including caravel, the carrack, and the galleon. And where for the first time in history, the maritime navigation was possible. The Portuguese Empire led the Portuguese kingdom to discover the map most of the globe and find sea routes as far as east and west, such as a remarkable voyage to find the sea route to India via the Cape of Good Hope. So, in this video, I'll be giving brief accounts on the arrival of Europeans in India. And the first Europeans, those entered India, were Portuguese. And if you see the history, the Portuguese were the first Europeans who discovered a direct sea route to India. And Portuguese sailor Vasco da Gama arrived at Calicut, an important seaport located on the southwest of India, on 20th May 1498. He went to the local ruler named King Zamorin, who gave permission to Portuguese to trade and several other privileges on request made by Vasco da Gama. After staying 3 months in India, Vasco da Gama returned with a rich cargo which he sold in the European market at an exorbitant price, estimated 60 times of the cost of his voyage. So he had earned a lot of profit after coming to India and taking products from India, and he sold it around 60 times more of the cost of his. So this is the picture of Vasco da Gama. He's the one who founded the sea route map of India, and his route is this. He started his journey from Portugal. You can see from the top left hand side corner. He followed the route and crossed the Cape Verde Island, and through Atlantic Ocean he crossed from Cape of Good Hope. He went across Africa, and in between he stopped at two places. One was Mozambique and another was Malindi, and thereafter he directly went to Calicut. And this is his first voyage, and thereafter he stayed in India for 3 months, and he went back to his country, and there we all know that he earned a lot of profit. And after some time, after some years, we can say that he again came to India, and it was his second voyage when he tried to establish the dominion of Portugal in India. So in 1501 AD, Vasco da Gama came back to India again, and he set up a trading factory at Kannur, which is now Kannur, and it is a coastal city in South India state of Kerala. So he established the trade links, and because of those trade links in India, Cochin, Kannur, and Calicut emerged as the significant Portuguese centers in India. The impact was that the already established Arab traders became jealous of this rise and success of Portuguese in India, and hence they caused enmity between the Portuguese and the local King Zamorin. And those Arab traders, those who had already developed and established their business, they were feeling jealous, and they caused enmity between the two. And the result of this was that in the year 1504, the hostilities between both of them, the Portuguese and the King Zamorin, led to a full-fledged military face-off between the Portuguese and the King Zamorin armies. And in the Battle of Cochin, which was fought from 16th March 1504 to 3rd July 1504, in that battle, King Zamorin was defeated by Portuguese, and with this victory over Zamorin, the military superiority of Portuguese was established. And with that, the first Portuguese governor of India was nominated, and in 1505, Francisco de Almeida was appointed as the first French governor of India. Francisco de Almeida also built fort at Anjadeva, Manor and Cochin to settle in the Portuguese. His policies, being centric to controlling the Indian Ocean, was also known as the Blue Water policies, and he's also introduced the card system in India, in which the passes were issued to the trading ships. In 1509, Alfonso was a new governor, and he replaced Francisco de Almeida and became the governor of India. He captured Goa from the Sultan of Bijapur in the year 1510. Goa then subsequently became the headquarters of Portuguese in India, and by the end of 16th century, Portuguese captured not only Goa, Daman, Diu and Saiti, but also a vast stretch along the Indian coast. So we have till now we have seen that how Portuguese arriving in India and how they established their military supremacy in India by defeating King Zamorin. And now we'll be discussing about the decline of Portuguese power in India. So we all know that many European companies were interested in trading with India. So due to the strong rival trading communities from Europe posted a big challenge to Portuguese, and they had to give way to the more powerful competitors. So this weakening and decline of Portuguese power in India continued till 1961, when the government of India recaptured Goa, Daman and Diu from Portuguese and forced them to withdraw from India. Ironically, we all know that Portuguese were the first to arrive in India, but they were the last ones who withdrew from India. And if we see the contribution of Portuguese in India, Portuguese were the one who brought tobacco cultivation in India. Second, they established first printing press in Goa in 1556. They were the first Europeans who were responsible for spreading Christianity in India and Asia. So this is how we saw that the Portuguese were gaining their control over India's trading as well as military, and by defeating King Zamorin, they established their military superiority, and how the other European communities who were keen to establish their business in India pose a good and a great challenge, and gradually the weakening and declining of Portuguese power. The next topic we'll be discussing about the advent of Dutch in India. So the people of Holland, which is now Netherlands, were called as Dutch in those times, and next to Portuguese, the Dutch were the ones who set their feet in India. In 1602, United East India Company of Netherlands was formed and was given the permission by the Dutch government to trade in East Indies, including India. Dutch gradually settled factories in Masulipatam, Pulicat, Karikal, Kasim Bazar, Surat, Bimu, Patnam, Patna, Balasore, Cochin, Nagapatnam and Boranganore. The major Indian commodities traded by Dutch were cotton, indigo, silk and opium. Dutch established mints at Cochin, Masulipatam, Nagapatnam, Pondicherry and Pulicat. This is the trading route of the Dutch. You can see that there is Netherlands, through which they have followed the same way that was followed by Vasco da Gama. They arrived at Cape Town, through there they went to Mauritius, from there they went to India and many more places for trade. So declining of Dutch power in India, the presence of Indian subcontinent of Dutch lasted from 1605 to 1825 AD, and the rise of British power in Eastern trade posed serious challenge to the commercial interest of Dutch. This led to the bloody warfare between Dutch and Britishers. We all know that Britishers were quite strong, and while they showed up their interest in trade with India, this posed a great challenge to the Dutch, and a bloody warfare between them resulted in decline of the Dutch power and rise of Britishers' power in India. So on 25th November 1759, the Battle of Bedara took place, and in the Battle of Bedara, which is also known as the Battle of Chinsura, it was fought between the Dutch and Britishers, and Britishers defeated the Dutch and captured the Dutch strongholds, and this is how Britishers gained control over India. They have arrived in India by defeating Dutch, and now we'll be discussing about the advent of Britishers in India. Britishers were the ones who set their feet in India after Dutch and Portuguese. In 1600 AD, the British East India Company was formed by the merchants of London and started trade in India. And on 31st December 1600, the Queen Elizabeth gave monopoly to British East India Company for eastern trade. On 24th August 1608, Sir William Hawkins, the captain of the first ship of East India Company named Hector, anchored the ship at Surat, and he travelled to Agra to negotiate consent of factory from Emperor Jahangir in 1609. He handed over the proposed letter of King James I of England to Mughal Emperor Jahangir in his court to obtain permission to establish factory in Surat. So now we have seen that Britishers have arrived in India, and they have went for gaining the permission to establish the factories in India, and now we'll be discussing how they established the British Dominion. So the Britishers gained the permission to establish a factory in Surat, and in the year 1612 the first factory of British East India Company was established in Surat. Later on, Britishers established several factories in the name of British East India Company in various places such as Agra, Ahmedabad, Bihar, Baroda, Bengal, Madras, Bombay, Bharuch, Orissa and Masulipatam. And the first factory of British East India Company to be established in southern India was established at Masulipatam. So this is the trade route of East India Company. You can see there is London, through which they have came crossing Africa to India in Mumbai and other places. Discussing about the advent of Danish in India. Danish refers to something or someone related to Denmark in today's date, and in 1616 the first Danish East India Company was founded. They established settlement in Bengal's Serampur, Tamil Nadu's Tangubir or Tranquebar, Nicobar Island. Denmark held colonial position in India for almost 225 years, and the Danish East India Company was then forced to sell their settlements in India to British East India Company in 1845. This is the trade route of the Danish peoples. There is Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark, through which we can see the trade route map to Tranbæk, and in detail if we see Tranbæk, Masulipatam and Balasore. Now we'll discuss about the advent of French in India. We know that the last Europeans to arrive in India were the French. In 1664, the French East India Company was formed during the reign of King Louis XIV to trade with India. In 1668, they established their first factory at Surat, and in 1669, they established another French factory at Masulipatam. In 1673, with the permission of Mughal Subedar of Bengal, they established a township at Chandranagar near Calcutta. On 22 January 1760, a battle was fought between Britishers and the French. It was known as the Battle of Vandivouche, and in this the French were attempting to regain the fort of Vendivachy, in which they failed, and the Britishers defeated French. This is the map of European settlements in India, and you can see on the bottom right hand side corner their legends were given in this map, and you can see various settlements of European companies in India, and in which we can see the Portuguese, English or Britishers, we can say, French, Dutch and Danish settlements were marked as per their flags. So this is the chart of European companies, in which we have shown that the European companies, in front of the year in which they have came to India or they have established their first factory in India. So the first were Portuguese East India Company that arrived in the year 1498, followed by the Dutch East India Company that established their very first factory in India in the year 1602. They were followed by the British East India Company, and the British East India Company came to India in 1600 AD. The Danish East India Company came after the British East India Company in the year 1616, and the last were the French, and the French East India Company came to India in 1664. This is all about this video, and I hope I have given something valuable information to you. And if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel more and more, and please hit the bell icon so that whenever we'll upload a new video, you'll be notified as soon as we upload it. And now we have 296 subscribers, and we are hoping that with our videos we'll be able to gain much more. And thank you for your support for our videos. And in the next video we'll be discussing about why the East India companies were interested in establishing their factories in India and trading with us. So thank you for watching our video, and please like, subscribe and share our YouTube channel as well as our videos. Thank you very much.